Hey, Super Sunday almost here. Welcome to Mission 59 Let's Fly, presented by Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL with the Super Bowl champ. It's Mr. Barrett Brooks. I'm Danny Pommells. Barrett, when you went to Super Bowl 40 with the Steelers, it was just media day. Now it's opening night with over 6,000 credentialed media members from
crazy.
26 different countries. What is it like for the players going through this type of event?
Well, I was just a regular guy, so I wasn't up on the stage. I mean, they had each guy, that's starred, not necessarily star, but star players in the little compartments, little stages.
Right.
And they would ask them questions, but I was out mingling out with all the reporters and everything, the players that, weren't necessarily stars on the team.
Right.
And we got asked a bunch of questions, silly questions. Like the big thing back then was, is a hot dog a sandwich? I'm like, what is this all about? You know what I'm saying? But it's just the feeling. That's when you got the vibe, really. Hey, I'm in a Super Bowl. This is a Super Bowl atmosphere. This is the #1 show in all the world. It was just a great environment, man.
Glad we agree a hot dog is not a sandwich. Let's start with the quarterback now. Here's the best of Jalen Hurts' media availability from opening night. Have a listen.
I think it's been a step in every aspect, just you got to understand that you approach it obviously trying to put forth a good effort, trying to improve in everything, assess it for what it is, but also knowing that every team is different. And so it's just been a process that I've taken a day at a time, and I've always just had the mentality of trying to get better every day and trying to improve from within. And so definitely fortunate to be able to put the work in and have an opportunity like this.
As a follow-up, what did you do differently to minimize the turnovers, and particularly in the this past week?
Yeah, I think every year is different. I test that to kind of some of our approach, some of the things that we're able to evolve in. And I think obviously when you have a threat in Saquon and you're able to lean on that, I think that has a big role in what you do offensively. And so he's been a great addition to us, and he's been able to help us in that.
Jalen, how do you think you've grown as a leader since the last Super Bowl, and what's your main message to your team this week?
I think the main message is just to go out there and focus and go out there and fight to finish. There's been a lot of work put in to have these opportunities, and again, we just want to take advantage of them.
Jalen, you faced Mahomes and company a few years ago in the Super Bowl. What is the key to success this time around to raise the Lombardi?
Yeah, you gotta be able to finish. You gotta be able to finish, and that's gonna take great focus. Great week of prep this week, putting it all together. And Coach Spags has always done a great job. I got a ton of respect for him. They got great players, great front seven, great defensive back, defensive back group, very disruptive group, and so it'll be a great challenge for us.
Jalen, I'm Lisa Guerrero with Inside Edition, and I have a question for you from a little boy who's at Oshner Children's Hospital. His name is Rylan, and he wants to know two things. He wants to know if it hurts when you get tackled.
Some. Sometimes. Rarely.
Sometimes. And just look into there. And he also wants to know how many years have you played football and how many more years will you play football?
I don't know that I know the answer to the last question, but I've been playing football since I first started playing in the 4th grade. So that's when I officially started playing. I always grew up with the ball in my hand, so I always knew that was my love. But yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a good while.
And finally, will you wave to Jalen because you're his favorite player?
Tell him get better. Prayers up for you.
Thank you.
Jalen, can you talk a little bit about your chemistry with Saquon? Was that immediate? And how has it? Can you talk about your chemistry with Saquon Barkley? And was that immediate, or did it develop over time? If so, how?
I think with a player like Saquon, the effort he puts in, the character he has, and just the energy he brings, it's something that you always heard about when he was, at the New York Giants. And for him to come in, I think that was something that was instant. Reaching out, trying to come to Cali and spend his time together in Florida and working and putting that time in. And so he's already, a great player, but he's a great teammate as well.
Yeah, heck of a backfield. Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley here in this first season. Who knows what they can do in the years to come, but Jalen Hurts, a pretty cool customer. What would you expect from him right there with those questions?
I'm going to tell you the truth. That's probably the most expressive I've seen Jalen this entire season. If it wasn't for, him being mad, came up when we played against, the Steelers.
Right.
He said, "Is that what you guys wanted?" That was probably the highlight of his emotion.
That's when he had all the diamonds on.
Yeah. But then this time, he even cracked him. You can see a little slight hint of a smile going on there, So I'm saying he's enjoying the whole atmosphere of being in the Super Bowl Media Day. I mean, I kind of liked it. I kind of liked the fact that he opened up a little bit. He's usually well reserved to himself. I think he's letting the rest of the world know that he is human, you know what I mean? Outside of our fishbowl here in Philadelphia, we don't usually get that from him. But I'm glad to see that he's opening up a little bit, and I love the stuff he was saying, finish. That's been big, and I think you're going to hear that throughout the night on other players saying it too. They need to finish. They didn't finish the last time 2 years ago. They're going to finish. And Saquon, we know he's a beast. He's, integral part of his offense. It goes through him. So Jalen is very aware that, hey, that's where our bread is being buttered at. Let's keep riding it and go ahead and win the Super Bowl and finish.
We'll hear from number 26 in just a bit. Unfinished business for the Eagles against these Chiefs, hoping to bounce back from that 3-point loss a couple of years ago. The tail of the tape right now, brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. The Eagles and Chiefs have a combined 34-5 record this season, including the playoffs. The Eagles have the edge on both sides of the ball in terms of regular season ranks. For more on the Eagles' opening night experience, we check in with Ashlyn Sullivan in the mix at the Superdome in New Orleans. Hey, Ashlyn.
Hey guys, well that was quite the whirlwind of an hour at media night. That was the weirdest group of questions I've ever heard in my life, from do you believe in conspiracy theories to have you ever seen a ghost? I was able to sneak in some questions with Vic Fangio, Eagles defensive coordinator, about this #1 ranked Eagles defense.
There's a lot, but we got to have a good tackling game. These guys run well after the catch. Obviously, Mahomes is elusive. Pacheco runs extremely hard. Tackling is going to be paramount.
And I think since I've been standing here, you've been asked about Quinyon and Cooper 4 times. To experience this as rookies, is there anything you tell them about soaking in this moment?
Well, I tell them they're not rookies anymore. They've played a lot of games. This is game 21 for us, not counting preseason. And so their rookie is gone. They've matured. They've experienced success, had some negative plays. They're ready for this.
And do you feel like this defense is peaking at the right time? Is there a certain week where you felt like you were where you wanted to be in this defensive scheme?
Yeah, we just kept getting better. And, and then we had to overcome the Kobe's injury, BG's injury. We'll be ready.
And Brandon Graham, are you shocked he's back and even questionable to play this game at this point?
Yeah, I am. But he might post. We'll see.
Well, you heard Vic Fangio say we'll see if Brandon Graham is going to play on Sunday. Brandon basically confirmed to us at the podium that he is going to play on Sunday, barring any major setbacks at practice this week. And he said he really knew he was going to play when the Eagles opened up his practice window. He said, they're not doing me any favors here. For them to open up my practice window, for me to take a spot on this roster, he said that means a lot to me because the Eagles believe I can hit a home run in the Super Bowl. So no favors here. They believe Brandon Graham can make an impactful play on Sunday, guys.
How poetic would that be to see BG come back and make an impact in the Super Bowl? Sully, there's a lot to take in at opening night. What were some of your observations of how the Eagles handled all the craziness being thrown their way this evening?
My biggest observation was truthfully how well they handled it. This was my first media night. It was a whirlwind. It is crazy to be out there with that many people, and truthfully very few players look rattled to me. It really seemed like normal press conferences for most of the guys, even the rookies like Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. They were very calm, cool, and collected, handled their business, left in an hour. A lot of guys talked about, because there is so many people here and you're getting pulled so many ways, that time spent at the team hotel where it's just your team, where it's just your family, means even more when you're able to get away from it. But they honestly said that they get why this is so blown up. It is the Super Bowl for a reason. They appreciate all the viewership they are getting, but when it's just the team, it makes those moments that much sweeter this week.
She is Ashlyn Sullivan, on point like a number 2 pencil. Look forward to hearing your reports all week long from New Orleans. Ashlyn, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. All eyes have been on Saquon Barkley this season for sure. He became just the 9th player in NFL history to run for over 2,000 yards. He was the center of attention once again tonight. Here's the best of Barkley's media availability.
You just got to take it all in. This is part of it. You got to enjoy it. So I'm happy to be here, happy to have conversations with you guys. At the same time, you know it's a business and you stay locked in. But today, you enjoy the moment and have fun with it. Just this team, just everybody in that organization, the love that they have for each other. And you see all the big-time names, the star players. But at the end of the day, all we want to do is win games and see each other succeed. So when you have a group with that mindset, it's easy to go out there and make plays. One of my favorite quotes that Nick said all the time, you can't be great without the greatest of others. And that's how it works. We have a great team, but we all want to do it together. And that's the reason why we've been successful, and it's going to take everyone again this Sunday. I mean, just right now, you're watching film on them and, try to get an understanding of how they're going to attack you in their scheme, and which is, super hard. They're a great defense. It's not a mistake that they're in this game. I don't think they let a 100-yard rusher all year besides Lamar. So we know it's going to be a tough challenge, but, a challenge that, we're ready to go against. So it helps the run game. When you have a quarterback that's a running threat, you got to take account for him, especially the way that he's able to run the ball. I think, Kellen and all the guys and the coaches do a really good job of, using my talents and using his talents, and especially with the guys up front of, the reason why we've been so explosive in the run game. When you get to this stage and get to the playoffs, it's win or go home. So that's kind of the mindset right there. And you just try to stay locked in and get into your flow and your flow state. And that's been the challenge for me in this playoffs, and what I'm going to try to continue to do in my career is how often can I get in flow and how I'm able to stay in that flow mindset and to be able to take over games.
What did you see in the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah, I mean, me and my family literally, had a sheet and did pros and cons, and the only con about Philly was I might get some slack because I played in New York. So it was a no-brainer for me. The talent that we have here, the going against those guys, just hearing stories about the organization, and then most importantly, the big boys up front. They definitely changed my life. I'm appreciative of the Eagles, but not only for the success that we have on the football field. Throughout the whole organization, there's so many great individuals that helped me so much and also challenging me. So definitely a big appreciation to them. I think it's pretty cool that the Super Bowl lands on my birthday. Not only my birthday, Coot's birthday, and Sam's birthday too. But yeah, I don't think winning the Super Bowl on your birthday, or whether it's the day before or the day after, I think just winning the Super Bowl in general is such a cool moment, and it puts you in football royalty, and it's something that you want to accomplish since you're a little kid. So whether it was on my birthday or not, to be able to win it would mean everything, would mean the world, and definitely make sure that I'll show gratitude and give thanks to the man upstairs, and just take it all in. The best trash talker will be Brandon Graham. I would say Brandon Graham. Obviously, I'm his teammate now, but for 6 years, I got to go against him. I mean, I wouldn't call it adversity. Being 2-2 in the NFL is not adversity at all. Definitely the media is going to take it and run with it, and we're in a tough market, and our fans expect a lot from us. But I do think that bye week helped us become a lot closer and realize what we want to accomplish, and just understanding that how much talent we have on this team, and don't want to be a look what we could have been, and rather be we did some special stuff and we accomplished a lot, and now we're one more win away.
Saquon Barkley, the author of the greatest season of an Eagles running back ever, on the run, presented by Dunkin'. America runs on Dunkin'. Barkley needs just 30 yards in the Super Bowl to set a new NFL record for rushing yards in a season, including the playoffs. Barkley's 2,447 yards trail only Terrell Davis's 2,476 yards in the 1998 postseason. Davis won the Super Bowl with the Broncos that year. Barkley hoping to do the same. Barrett, your thoughts on what Barkley had to say at opening night seem pretty locked in, if you ask me.
Absolutely. He says win or go home, and that's exactly what it is. But I liked what he's talking about the offense. The reason why he signed here with the Philadelphia Eagles. That offensive line, that'd probably be his number one. That offensive line, anybody want to run behind them. But then he talked about the weapons that they have. Guys on the outside. So you can't just stop him. You know, that's all it was. Saquon left, Saquon right, Saquon up the middle when he's with the Giants. He now has guys on the outside that can play and be impactful in the offense. But then he said, you know, Jalen's ability in the run game, his ability to go out there and make plays in the run game keeps you from, you know, going in and just crashing your ends and really keeping you, Saquon, from running the ball. That's something, you know, that you know, you can't take lightly. Jalen's presence on the field, you have to play honest from a defensive end position, which allows then to keep holes wide and open, because you can't do that because Jalen could take it the distance. He showed that against the Rams. So all these things factor into him coming here and playing for the Eagles. I love the fact that he's here. But, yeah, it's like you said, it's pretty much a no-brainer on where his best place to be is. With that offensive line and the way they run the ball here, I would have came here also.
Hey, it was not just the players talking with the media tonight. Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie held court as well. We'll hear from Lurie on a number of topics, including his reported interest in buying the Boston Celtics. Yeah, this is Mission 59. Let's fly, presented by Toyota. Stick around. Oh, yeah, we're back with storylines presented by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Here are the odds on which player will score the first TD in Super Bowl 59. Saquon Barkley tops the list, Barrett at plus 400, followed by QB1 at plus 650. The Chiefs' Kareem Hunt and Travis Kelce, each plus 850. Hey, we saw A.J. Brown on that list. He's plus 1,100 to score the first touchdown in Super Bowl 59. Brown drew a big crowd at opening night, as he should. Here's a portion of what he had to say.
It feels amazing. It's truly a blessing. I'm grateful. When I grew up, I always said I wanted to play in these big games, and you know, I'm blessed to be in this situation, and now I'm just trying to maximize these opportunities because they don't come so often, you know. I know it's about the players making plays, but I think Howie Roseman is the reason why we're here. You know, he did a great job putting together a great roster, and like I said, I know it's about players making plays, but he definitely put us in position. Yeah. A testament to that, and testament to our team. You know, our teammates who pushing them boys pushing themselves, and you know, want to be great. You know, and they've been doing a great job, and we need them to do it one more time. Just watching film. A lot. I'm just tracking the ball over the shoulder, hand-eye coordination, you know. Oh, since the Super Bowl? I don't know, since the Super Bowl. But I have 1,348 unread text messages. We play the game to compete. We don't play the game for the score. The score is for the fans. What, inner excellence? I heard it was, yeah. He's been doing a great job putting us in positions to win, preparing us for the game, and he's done a great job all year.
The man has over 1,300 unread text messages, Barrett. Is that? Oh, that's just commonplace for you? That's no big deal?
Just like emails, bro. I'm not reading emails. I'm not reading text.
Move on.
Yeah.
But, AJ, man, what an incredible decision for him to figure out how to get here to Philly. He gets the trade from Tennessee. Second Super Bowl in 3 seasons for him. I mean, incredible run at this point.
And he's a major reason why they are able to do the things that they do. He is a very impactful player. You have to account for him and your number count on the defensive side of the ball. It's not like, yes, Saquon's that guy, but they also know that this guy can make big plays also. And I like what they did this last game. They made sure they showed they can still go up top on the double move and get the ball to AJ and it'd be a big play. They just had to show him a little bit, so they threw it up there. completed, big play, we still got this in our repertoire. So those are little things, but I mean, just like he was saying, these guys are in a position where this just doesn't happen all the time. And I know at this point, DeJean and Mitchell, they're probably thinking, oh, shoot, as good as we are, as good as this team is constructed, we'll be here this year, next year, the year after. But it's tough getting to the Super Bowl, very tough getting to the Super Bowl. But, I mean, at the end of the day, they got a squad. So, I mean, this may be something, but you got to take advantage of every single opportunity you have when you're on that field. Every single, whether it's Super Bowl, anything. You got to make sure, because you never know when it'll be taken from you, or you won't have that opportunity to play in a big game like this.
AJ showing a lot of love to Howie Roseman there initially when he started speaking, because Howie, like he said, helped construct this roster and made all the right choices to get the guys in here who could make a difference. Zach Bond really comes to mind as one of them.
Absolutely.
What about the Eagles owner, Jeffrey Lurie, spoke with the media tonight as well. Here's a portion of what Lurie had to say, starting with this response about Nick Sirianni.
Nick has done a phenomenal job, just as we expected when we hired him. Incredible leader, attention to detail, love of football, incredibly passionate, able to connect with everyone in the organization, the players, his coaches, picks excellent coaches under him, loses coaches and picks excellent coaches to replace. Just outstanding job. It's what can I say?
What's made this run unique or different than the other ones you've had? This run to the Super Bowl. What's distinguishable about this one relative to the other ones you've had?
They've all been great. I don't want to compare teams. They're all incredible teams. I think some of the similarities, though, are humble, team-oriented, superb culture. This team is incredibly talented, top to bottom. Star power, depth, passion for the game, but also humble and team-oriented. And so were all the other teams. So it's very hard to compare. Our focus is all on this team, this quest, and couldn't be more proud of the players, the coaches, Howie and his staff.
There's reports out there about your interest in the Celtics. Anything? Can you confirm that or address it?
No. I'm not really interested in acquiring another sports team. I think it's connected because, they were my childhood team. I've got a tremendous amount of respect for their whole culture. I sort of see it as like a kindred soul in the NBA. It's not something that's top of mind, and my whole focus is on my love of the Eagles and to win another Super Bowl for Philadelphia. And I'm obsessed, as you know, and that's where it all comes from. I would never say never, but I'm not looking to own another sports franchise. The Celtics, again, are exceptional. They're so well run. They're so talented. It's my childhood team. However, I do not expect that to happen.
Wow. Okay. There you have it. Jeff Lurie saying that the Celtics probably aren't in his future. I mean, has plenty going on here with building a new arena possibly for the Eagles, and whether it has a dome or not and whatnot. But nonetheless, him heaping a lot of praise outside of the Celtics stuff on Nick Sirianni. And there was so much consternation about whether Sirianni will be back for this season. Seems like he made the right decision in bringing him back.
I mean, we're sitting in the Super Bowl, so he definitely made the right decision. I'm a firm believer in, Nick Sirianni, because, number one, even through all that stuff that was happening the first 4 games when they went 2-2 and everybody acted like the sky was falling, I still believe in Nick, because I knew the reason why he was calling the plays he was calling and having those type of reactions. He believed in his players, and his players believed in him. They just weren't executing on the clip that they were doing now. He called those plays because he knew that those players could go out and execute those plays. Well, they weren't executing. They are executing now. They just had to catch up. And that's the only reason why they went 2-2. They should have been 4-0. They were a drop pass here, or, I think the only time they really got beat was against Tampa Bay. They've always had the frameworks of being a great team. The defense caught up and everything. But at the end of the day, when you look at this Eagles team, it's built on Nick Sirianni's frame of mind. He's a family-oriented guy, like Coach said, but they're all about themselves, loving each other, and going out there and just playing so hard and so physical. And they leave it all on the field. And that's all you can ask from a player. And a coach can get that out of his players. There's no telling what you could do. You can end up in a Super Bowl like these guys are now.
Hungry dogs run faster. No one likes us. We don't care. The Eagles one win away from a big-time victory for this franchise.
I need another one. Let's go.
A popular guy at opening night, the first head coach in Eagles history, Sirianni, to go to the 2 Super Bowls. We'll hear from him when we return on Mission 59. Let's fly. Back with our electrifying moment presented by Toyota. The Eagles posted this video on social media earlier today. The team getting a workout in at the Saints practice facility in Metairie, Louisiana. The Saints facility is about 8 miles west of the Superdome in downtown New Orleans. The Eagles will be working out and practicing at the Saints facility all week leading up to Super Bowl 59. Nick Sirianni is preparing to coach in his second Super Bowl in the last 3 years. He's the first head coach in franchise history to take the Eagles to 2 Super Bowls. Here's a portion of Sirianni's media availability at opening night.
I always wondered if you put on a heart monitor on our guy, you know, and the situation got bigger and the moment got bigger, what their heart rate would be doing. And I would imagine that Jalen's is very steady, very calm, the same way it was in the first quarter as it is in the fourth quarter, or in a 2-minute drill, or, you know, overtime. I think that's something that I always admired of Jalen. I've been around a lot of good coaches that have helped me kind of get ready for this opportunity that I have. But, you know, like we say, anytime we start the off season and we're talking about getting new players and how we scout players and how we bring players in, which Howie obviously does a great job of, I say to our coaches, hey, guys, you want to know what the secret to good coaching is? Get good players. And definitely have some good players around me that have helped that, obviously. You know, this is an emotional game, and, you know, sometimes your emotions, you know, I wouldn't say get the best of you, but you show your emotion. I think one thing that I've never really been shy about is being myself and being who I am. I think if you're not the person that you are and you're trying to lead men, that they'll see through that in a moment. And so, you know, it was, you know, sometimes, though, you get more emotional at certain times than other times. There are a lot of God-given abilities that he has. Like when you talk about a running back, you talk about can this run, when you scout a running back, you say, can this guy make you miss? And he has that ability to make you miss. You say, can he hit a home run, you know, with his long speed? He can do that. And does he have power to, if the guys are wrapping him up, can he break those tackles? So he has all those abilities, but I think he has great instincts. He can catch the ball great. He showed that he blocks really well when he's in pass protection. I just can't say enough about the teammate he is. You know, to rush for all those yards and do all the things that he's done in his career, but then you see him celebrating the successes of his other teammates, or, you know, getting a big block to help Jalen throw the ball down the field. It's the little things that he does day in and day out that are special. And again, back to the fundamentals part of it, I just think he does a great job at taking care of the ball and his vision.
Yeah, I think Sirianni brings up a great point that, Saquon Barkley can do everything with the football on the field, but with the way that he's played this season, it's going to be a big leadership role for him with this team next year, similar to how Jordan Mailata became a leader after the success that he had. Jalen Hurts obviously kind of born into that role as the quarterback, but Saquon Barkley, guys already leaning on him in a lot of different ways, but next year that'll be even a bigger role for him.
I mean, it's performance-based.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be easy for a guy to go out there and follow him. He can lead anybody at this point because he's doing the work out there. He's showing that his work and how his, you know, work ethic has allowed this team to have some success. 2,005 yards. We're in the Super Bowl because of this young man. I mean, and you know, and it's the combined efforts of everybody. So, yeah, I mean, that goes without saying that he's going to be a great leader for this team next year. And it's not going to be hard for, you know, Nick to, lean on him to get the voice of the team, get the pulse of the team, and keep that culture the way it is, because he fits right on in with how this culture is. It's all about work. It's all about just going out there and being physical. It's all about going out there and knowing that you're taking care of everything you need to take care of throughout the week of practice. That way, when you get in the game, it's a lot easier because you did everything you could do to go out there and perform.
Couldn't ask for a better fit with number 26 coming here, but he's always a great fit. It is John Clark. For more on tonight's opening night festivities, we go back down to New Orleans and check in with JC. How you doing, John?
I'm doing great. It was a wild media night. I mean, you had Ocho Cinco, Chad Johnson come up to Nick Sirianni on his podium and give a big kiss on the side of Nick's face. Nick was stunned. You had Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham basically said, I'm excited to play in this game, and then he had to kind of walk it back a little bit, and he was like, okay, I have to see how the week goes, but the fact that he was on a podium says it all. Brandon Graham should play in this game, if no setbacks. So it was a fun night, and I decided to have a little fun. I've heard that the Eagles do some good impressions of their old school coaches, so I asked the offensive linemen to give me their best impressions of their legendary O-line coach, Jeff Stoutland, and the Birds defense to give me their impressions of their old school defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, and the Birds made a great impression. Watch this.
I don't know, John. What's your next story going to be after that, John? And the one after that? Look, he goes, I can coach a six-man protection as good as anybody. Yes, that's my wheelhouse, John.
That light at the end of the tunnel, you see that light? It's not a light. It's a train, and it's me, and I'm going to keep coming.
You're not going to time me out 10 minutes later. I'm sick and tired of you guys doing the wrong thing over and over again. Why can't you guys just do it the first time I tell you to do it? No, you know who you need to ask is Landon Dickinson.
I fear a man that practices not 10,000 kicks one time, but one kick 10,000 times.
The guys on defense are trying to get Fangio down. Can you give me your Vic Fangio impression?
You gotta do this though.
Oh, like this?
Yeah, like this.
Or she comes in elbow out.
Yeah, you gotta do that.
It's like that, like a chicken wing or something. I don't know. That's hilarious.
All right, man. Nah, I don't want to do it because he's gonna get mad at me.
All right, man. Yeah, it's time to, not right now. I can't do it right now.
If I had to do an impression, he'd just be standing here like this. Straight face, no smiles, ever.
You gotta tackle better than this. This is not how you tackle.
You got to come.
Hey, you gotta come. That's all I got for you.
JD's so good at it. Oh my gosh.
I think he can do a good impression of about anybody.
Them the ones that got you for real, got you good for real.
If it's second and long, alert pass. If you offensive line, his ankle is pointed out, he's gonna go out for a pass. You need to be alert. And that's just pretty much it. Been working all season on that, so I hope that's at least close to what he sounds like.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Jordan Davis is the guy they all say who does the best impression of Vic Fangio, and he said he was waiting to get it down through a full season under Vic Fangio, so he let it out, and it was a world exclusive letting that impression out. And I know Barrett Brooks, who used to play, he knows that players love to do impressions of their coaches, and it basically brings everybody together. And Jeff Stoutland even joked he can hear those guys doing impressions of him down the hallway. So it's all in good fun, and they love their old school coaches who are leading them to the Super Bowl.
Same thing, Bill Cowher. You got the chin going, you gotta make sure. My fault. I thought I was back in the Super Bowl again.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Finish, Barrett. Focus. Finish. Let's go.
You got BC all the way.
Man, y'all got some dueling impressions going on. So, John, these Eagles, man, they seem pretty laid back, seem to be soaking it all in. How do you think they handled the odds and ends of this opening night media day stuff?
Yeah, Danny, I mean, most of them have been through this, right? 2 years ago. So I think Jalen Hurts and these guys, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson, I think they had fun with it. You could tell they were very relaxed up there. They know what this week is going to be like because they went through it. So I think that experience helps them. And then some of the younger guys, like Cooper DeJean, he was eating it up. Some of these guys, Quinyon Mitchell, first season in the NFL. And now they're on the biggest stage with media from around the world. I'm sure they're going to say, wow, I was stunned by this. But it looks like the Eagles are really confident, really calm, and they're so in control right now. And the moment isn't too big for any of them.
John, great job navigating everything. We appreciate your reporting. Look forward to your reports all week long from New Orleans.
You got it. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Still ahead, we'll hear from the architect of this Eagles roster, Howie Roseman, back in the Super Bowl for a third time in the last 8 years. Roseman addresses a number of topics leading up to Super Bowl 59 when we return on Mission 59. Let's fly. We're back with Players Only, presented by Cadillac. Elevate your style in a Cadillac. Visit your local Cadillac dealer today. Jalen Hurts is poised to become the first Eagles quarterback to play in 2 Super Bowls. Here's a look at how Eagles quarterbacks have performed in the big game, dating back to Ron Jaworski in Super Bowl 15. Do we know that guy?
Yep.
Then Donovan McNabb in Super Bowl 39, Nick Foles in Super Bowl 52, and Jalen Hurts 2 years ago in Super Bowl 57. He had himself a day. This is Howie Roseman's third trip to Super Sunday as Eagles general manager. Roseman has earned a reputation as being one of the best executives in all of football. Here's a portion of what Roseman had to say tonight.
I'm always trying to prove myself. I'm always trying to compete. I know that it doesn't matter what I did last year or last week, that we got to put together a team every year and compete with the best in the world. And I think that's what drives me. And knowing this goes quickly in this business. You know, you go from being really successful to getting your kicked. And I know that after the Super Bowl, I'll drive my guys crazy saying, you know, we're behind everyone and we got to lead. But I think that that's part of it. You know, that part is what drives in you, and to try to come back in these situations. And when that confetti falls on your head, it's like nothing in the world, my man.
No, the league is structured around this concept of parity, where anyone can win in any season. But this rematch sort of flips that on its head as we look at what the Chiefs have done, going for a three-piece, which has never been, no one's been in a position to even achieve it. So what do you think of the concept of parity? Is it real in the NFL, or how do you see that?
Well, I think that's the best part about this game, is that we're basically all the sets, a fixed set of resources, draft picks, cap room, and we get to decide how to play with it, you know? And so I think that's what makes this really fun as a GM, that you really get to choose the direction that you want your team to go in. You know, you talk about the Chiefs, and you're talking about, you know, maybe the greatest coach, in my opinion, of all time, with an unbelievable Hall of Fame quarterback, you know? So it's pretty easy to see why they're in this position year after year, and we're striving. You know, we're striving to be a team like that plays like them. I mean, playing for 3 feet is unbelievable. It's going to be a huge challenge. Yeah, you know, not proud that we, you know, have a lot of coaches. That's certainly not what we're striving for, but I think it just is a great tribute to our players. I feel like through all those times, they've put trust in me, and they've never kind of come to Jeffrey and questioned and said, you know, you're fine the coaches, why don't you let go of Howie? They've always kind of like rallied around me and said, hey, how are we going to get better, and what can we do to help? And that to me is like, I owe them. I have an obligation to our players to put together whatever I can to give them a chance to compete for a championship. And that's why when Kelsey and Fletch walked off that field last year, I felt so bad about that. And then I go to the next guys, and you got guys like Lane and BG who've been here for so long. And obviously we have a lot more players than that, but you know, I feel like it's an obligation. Getting good players with good character, I think you got a chance every year.
If you were having trouble making that out, Howie talking about the next man up mentality a bit of losing Jason Kelsey, but other guys stepping up into that leadership role like Lane Johnson and Brandon Graham for this team. But it's interesting, Barrett. It's one thing for the team owner to think, oh, man, our GM is doing a great job, or his peers to think that. But it's different when you hear it from the players like A.J. Brown saying that, I don't even think we would be in the Super Bowl if it wasn't for Howie Roseman and how he constructed the team.
Oh, you know, please believe it. You know, you look at what he's done, how he's constructed this team. And I think it has everything to do with communication. Before his mass exodus, when he got kicked out with that coach, the coach we don't call his name anymore.
Right.
And then he made his resurgence and came back like a fiery phoenix. He went around and he went and researched how to be a great leader, how to pick talent. He went to talk to not just people in football, but other sports and in all type of genres to try to see how can he be the best version of himself he can be. And he learned the communication. Everything has to go through a loop. You know what I'm saying? It's not just him just making the decisions. He's got to go to the coaches. Coaches got to go to the scouts. The scouts got to go to this guy. I mean, he even went so far as to go pick his center and go talk to the center that's already there to find a center for him to replace him. That's communication. That's going and trying to exhaust every single means of trying to find the best player to fit this culture. And it's working for him. I mean, look at what he did. I mean, he got an all-pro, an all-pro center right now that Jason Kelce picked for him. He went and got, the best defensive tackle in the last 2 years to be in the draft. And he had to go through Dom to do that. I mean, Dom had to make sure that he was the best for this team. He was going through a little problem right now, and Dom cleared him to come and get drafted. All these things are communication he has with everybody, and he took it and made a great decision with it.
Howie Roseman, a heck of a pick in the first round of the 2023 draft. Barrett Brooks just alluded to him. Jalen Carter, the 9th overall selection. Carter went one-on-one with our Ashlyn Sullivan earlier tonight.
Well, I know this is absolutely a whirlwind, but as it hit now that you guys are definitely playing in a Super Bowl here in New Orleans?
Oh, yeah, man. Just seeing all this is new to me. I had 2 natties where we had media come in and talk to us, but right now you can't even move around, so you see the difference. It's fun. I'm enjoying the experience.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the experience you had with the national championships. How much are you going to rely on that you've been on big stages before?
Oh, yeah. I've been on big stages before, 2 natties. In them 2 games, I've been pretty calm, and at the end of the day, the goal was to win them games, and, our team got that dub. And for right now, that's the goal for this week, win the Super Bowl.
Right, absolutely. And that is the main mission. You guys have told us that all last week, that there is still a game to be played on Sunday. But how do you balance, obviously, this is a business trip. You want to win this game, but also experiencing this and enjoying it as well?
It's different, but like I said, going through 2 natties, seeing what I've seen, and, it just keep me calm. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I've been through this, even though not a Super Bowl, but I've been through 2 natties, and it's new to, not new to me, but I don't really know. It's different. I really don't know.
It's an overwhelming experience.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
That's for sure. But you guys were able to get a workout in. I saw the Saints facility today. You had a great week of practice. How confident are you in this defensive game plan coming up here?
I'm very confident. Coach Vic got us here. I'm pretty sure he's going to finish us off right.
And is there any secret sauce to stopping Patrick Mahomes? Have you found it yet?
Oh, no, I can't speak on it. One thing is to sack him. That's the main thing. But, if we do that or get him off his game, I feel like we'll have a good game.
Jalen, enjoy it.
Thank you.
Time for our final timeout. Kansas City is aiming for an unprecedented three-peat. What did the Chiefs have to say during their portion of opening night? We'll hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and company when Mission 59, Let's Fly, rolls on. Back with our RAV4 Things to Know presented by Toyota. The Chiefs are aiming for their 3rd straight Super Bowl title. That's never been done in NFL history. This is their 5th Super Bowl appearance in the last 7 years. Here are some of the highlights from the Chiefs portion of tonight's opening night festivities.
Yeah, I think it starts with Coach Reid. The culture that he's built. We know it's a day-by-day process, and it's awesome to be in the Super Bowl, but we have to go put in the work every single day first, and I'm glad we're here, but it's going to be a great game. I'm excited for it.
There seemed to be a genuine moment of respect between you and the Eagles and you and your quarterback opposition here. Why is that?
I mean, I've seen him do it on the biggest stage. A guy that goes out there and puts it all on the line for his team. I think in both our football teams, it's great culture, it's great teams, a lot of great players that all want to win.
Andy, you heard about Patrick saying all credit goes to Coach Reid. You guys have really built a culture here. What makes you proudest of this unit going here for the three-peat, the first team to ever get a chance to do that in Super Bowl history?
Listen, they're good human beings. That's the most important thing, and good football players. But most of all, I'm proud of them for just being good guys.
How about the respect you have for this Eagles team and what they can bring to the table? And it's not going to be an easy game on Sunday.
No, listen, Nick's done a great job with these guys and the players. They've got tremendous talent, and they play their tails off. So, and all the way from ownership on down, they've got it together and well deserved to be here.
Travis,
The media, we talk about it enough. The chance for a three-peat. I don't need to remind you of the history that could be made, but I do want to remind you about your storied career. Your 5th Super Bowl appearance, all with the same quarterback, the same head coach, the same organization that drafted you. What does this mean for your career and legacy?
I mean, we're a family in Kansas City. You know, I treat the kingdom like they're my own, and like I grew up in KC my entire life, and you only get to Super Bowls if you have that family atmosphere year in, year out, week in, week out of the building. And I'm just so fortunate I get to do it with guys like Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes and Chris Jones. And, you know, we got a lot of familiar faces, but we got a lot of new faces. And I want it just as bad for those guys as I want it for the guys that have been here for a while.
How do you look back at your time in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I mean, feels like another lifetime ago. Actually, a couple lifetimes ago at this point. But I was just saying, it's a lot of great friendships, relationships, memories that I'll cherish the rest of my life. I got married there. I had my first kid there. So I grew up and became a man there. Played NFL football there. All this stuff that coming out of North Dakota kind of changed my life. And so I owe a lot to my time there. Had a lot of fun. Obviously, I wish it would have ended differently. That's just kind of the nature of this business. But yeah, a lot of great memories for sure.
All right, B, are you noticing any chinks in the Chiefs' armor at this point?
I don't care if they had chinks or not. We're going to put some chinks in there.
Oh.
We're just going to be a more physical, a more violent team than they are. Period, point blank. In between them lines, all that nice stuff out the door. Big Red, all that out. I want total
annihilation. Annihilation is the word he's looking for.
Even though it's late, I'm going to keep it PG.
Annihilation, that was the word he's looking for. That is a wrap for Mission 59. Let's Fly, presented by Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL. Thanks for joining us. For Barrett Brooks, I'm Danny Pommells. Stay with us all week long for wall-to-wall Eagles coverage leading up to the big game, Super Bowl 59, this Sunday. Can't wait.